Hi everyone, namaste, it's Lauren. Welcome to my Wednesday Facebook Live. I have to say, I really look forward to being with you all on Wednesdays to share my personal practices and what has helped me, has been helping me for the past many years of my life, and especially right now is helping me to move through the challenges of this changing time that we're all experiencing. So today I want to share with you some thoughts I have about the ideas of transformation and rebirth. It's sort of appropriate now. We're just moving through the religious holidays of Easter and Passover, which really are about rebirth and transformation. We're in that 2 weeks into spring, deep into spring. So we're starting to really see that in nature around us as we see the little crocuses coming out and the daffodils are blooming and the buds on the forsythia. Now the cherry trees in the Northeast, it's all starting to bloom, and it's so beautiful to witness the rebirth of spring. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, my philosophy that I have learned through studying the traditions of yoga and many other Eastern spiritual traditions, as well as the shamanic tradition for the past 30 or so years of my life, and the things that have helped me get through things, through challenging times. And at the end of the conversation, we'll go into a little guided meditation on transformation and rebirth. So we'll be on for about 20 minutes. So I look forward to connecting with you guys, as I said, every week, and really sharing from my heart the practices that have guided me through challenging times in my life. And you may have heard me talk before about the yoga philosophical concept of the evolutionary cycle. And that cycle, which starts with the birthing of energy and then moves into the life cycle and then eventually into the death or dissolution, and always ultimately into the rebirth. Right? So there's this beautiful continuum that all of energy, everything in nature, everything that is manifest, everything that is alive and living goes through this cycle. And if we follow the philosophical wisdom of this cycle, it can really be very healing and very powerful and very practical as a tool that we can use to guide us through difficult and challenging times in our lives. So we learn this from nature, right? How do the yogis come up with this? Well, they watch, they look, they see in nature around us this idea of a beautiful sunset, right? In the morning when the sun rises, it's that creation, it's that birthing of the light. And then during the day, as it lives its lifespan of that beautiful day shining down on us. And then every evening, the sun will die, will dissolve, that day will end, never to come back again, right? So we, at night, even though the sunset is so beautiful, there is something very poignant about it because it is the ending. We're saying goodbye to that day, that particular day. But every morning, we are blessed with the rebirth. The sun rises again. And we see these cycles being represented in all of nature. We see it in the lunar cycle. We're just passing through the full moon last week. Now we're moving toward the new moon. Early next week, we will go back into the darkness again, and that cycle continues to be born, to live, and to die, and then to be reborn. Right? We see it in the seasons. Right now, we're going through the time of the year where we are in spring, where we're in the rebirth. Right? We have that beautiful rebirthing of energy. So many things are in nature blossoming and blooming right now. And then we go into the intensity of the summer where they're all like standing tall under the hot sun. And then in the fall, we start to see that dissolution. We see that death, that where all of the plants, all of nature, all the trees, a lot of the animals too, go into hibernation, into the darkness for the wintertime. And there is that idea that that season, that year, that annual cycle is now over. It will never come again. But we will have the rebirth of a new year, of a new cycle, of a new spring, right? So we see that represented in these beautiful cycles around us. And in the yoga tradition, we do also believe that this happens in our lifetime. We believe that we're born, each individual is born, that we live our life, that we eventually die, we dissolve, our soul, our physical body is returned to the earth, and our soul endures so that we then have that rebirth into our next lifetime. So whether or not you believe in reincarnation or not, everyone absolutely has to believe in the science of the rebirthing of the seasons and the sun and the moon and all of those cycles, because we can just watch them happen around us, right? So when we're in a challenging or a difficult time in our life, we do have the opportunity where we can choose to allow things to go into the dissolution cycle and choose to celebrate the rebirth, right? So whenever there's something, you can think of it like recycling of energy. If there's anything that is creating difficulty for you or creating agitation for you, anything that's not serving you in any way, things that you want to let go of. And they can be something, very, very practical, like maybe you need to purify your house and you need to clean your closets, right? And that's one way of rebirthing the living space, the energy of the space that you're living in, right? Maybe it's something that has to do with a relationship. Maybe there's a relationship you're in that's not serving you, that maybe it's time to sever that tie, to end that relationship, to let it go into the dissolution, into the darkness, so that you can cultivate space and create space for something new to appear, right? So we always allow for the dissolution so that we can create the space for the rebirth to happen. And sometimes if we hold on too tightly to everything around us, we tend to be, in the West, a nation of hoarders. We like to hold onto and amass things, whether it's money, relationship, objects, food, anything that we can get our hands on. We don't want to let go of things. And in the teachings of this philosophy of yoga, where we think about letting go and clearing space so that we can have an emptiness, right? And in that emptiness, there is room for possibility and rebirth and something new to come to you into your life. You can receive something new when you carve out the space. So like I said, whether it's something really simple like cleaning your closets or weeding your garden, or I'm just now growing my little plants in getting ready to put them in the ground, and when they sprout up, there's like 10 of those little plants in that one little pod, and I know I would love to let all those little plants live because they're so beautiful. But I know if I don't weed them out and just keep one little plant in that little pod, that little plant is not going to grow and thrive because it needs room for its roots to grow in that soil. So I have to create the space for that plant to be reborn and rebirthed into this beautiful, beautiful plant that I'm going to eventually give me my vegetables this summer so that I can sustain my family and myself. So sometimes we have to weed things out, right? So yeah, sometimes it is relationships that we have to clear, whether that's close relationships, or sometimes friends or families, or just energy that we just need to clear. Maybe it's not forever, maybe it's just taking space. And then of course there's always all of the feelings that rise up. And especially when we're going through a challenging time right now, there's lots of feelings that come up that may or may not be productive for us right now. I was just walking with a friend. We were talking about the news and really, maybe purifying some of those news stations, some of those news channels, some of those emails that you're getting that are creating agitation for you, that are not supporting you right now. And then, of course, there's always, the feeling state. Like, what are you feeling? What feelings are coming up for you? And maybe there are certain things that you want to let go of, right? Maybe it's some certain foods. Spring is a beautiful time for rebirth and fasting and cleansing. So maybe you're getting too much heaviness right now. You're feeling heavy because you're indoors a lot. Your body isn't moving as much as it usually moves. So maybe the food that you're eating is not as healthy as it possibly could be right now. So maybe it's letting go and dissolving some of those relationships, just some of those things that you love, right? Even though it's hard, so you can create space for something new, a new relationship to come into your life, right? If you let go of that, I don't know, that pint of Haagen-Dazs, maybe there's space for you to find a newfound love for a simple tangerine or a beautiful raspberry or something, right? So we're always seeing how we can clear and cleanse so that we can allow for the transformation, for the shift, for the energetic shift. which will allow then for that space to occur and for the rebirth to come into our life. And then we can be blessed with those gifts, right? So it also can be thoughts, right? Mental thoughts, thoughts that we have in our mind. Sometimes we get stuck on certain obsessive compulsive thoughts. Sometimes there's shame or guilt or things in the past that we hold on to that are creating agitation, disturbance, sadness for us. And sometimes it's hard because some of us have experienced trauma in our past, and I don't want to minimize that because I've had some personal trauma in my past as well. But holding on to the memories, the emotions, is not necessarily going to serve us. So this process is really about clearing, purifying, letting go, releasing, so that we can create the space to rebirth something new, right? So when we get stuck in our head, or maybe it's just like right now, I just need to clear my calendar. I need to rebirth my calendar. I'm working way too many hours. I have way too many meetings and appointments right now. This whole online thing has been amazing, but in some ways, for me in my life, it's creating a lot of stress, a lot of intensity, not in a bad way, but just a lot of work to do. So for me, that dissolution means to be letting go of some of the things in my calendar so that I can open that space, so that I can allow for something new to come into my life that might be more creative or more inspiring or allow for more passion. Or maybe it's another place for me to connect to healing, a way that I can help to heal my community or my clients or my family or myself, right? Self-love is a really important thing right now. And when our calendars get too full, there's not as much time for self-love. Hold on, my mala is getting stuck on my microphone. Okay, so how do we do this? Well, it's really, really simple, actually, really. Think about the evolutionary cycle. Think about birth, energy birthing, energy being created. And you can use that image of the sunrise because it's a really beautiful one and it's really clear, right? And then energy starts to build, right? As the sun rises, we feel the lifting, the building of the energy. And then, again, it starts to descend and dissolve and die. Right? So if you think about everything that you have in your field right now, which is a combination of your physical body, your energy body, your psycho-emotions, right? Your mental field, your thoughts, your ego, mundane field of thought, and then your higher elevated buddhi, your spiritual thoughts, and then of course your divine essence, right? Your God essence, your bliss essence. All those parts of yourself, right? And in which of the parts are there things that right now are not serving you, right? Where are the places where you want to let go and shift and change and transform so you can rebirth yourself, right? So maybe it's something physical. Maybe you're holding on to an injury or pain in your body, or maybe it's something to do with your digestion or some insomnia. A lot of people are suffering from insomnia right now. So if we want to clear these things and release them and let go of them, we actually have to turn that into a ritual. It's a ritual practice. So we imagine the energy coming in, right? We feel it building. And then when it gets to that place of intensity, where we feel it either in our belly, in our heart, in our mind, where it's starting to feel uncomfortable, then we have to ride that wave down the other side, and we have to surrender it and let it go. And so we can use meditation, we can use visualization to imagine those disturbing feelings, sensations, thoughts, attitudes, relationships, environmental toxicity, whether it's something that's in the air, whether it's global stress, global tension. We can clear and move through all of that, from our own person to the people that we love, to the strangers, to all beings, and to the planet itself. Right? We can do that by using the power of transformation. In the yoga tradition, we have a chant that we use. It's a very practical one, and it's to Lord Shiva. And the chant is very simple. It's Om Namah Shivaya. And basically, it's honoring Lord Shiva, who is in the form of Nataraja, the god of transformation. And he's depicted dancing in a ring of fire because fire is the element that mutates, that changes, that transforms. And he's in that fire ring, right? He's in the dissolution. He's in the hot spot. He's in the really difficult part. But what is he doing? He's dancing, right? And why is he dancing? I love this part. I always ask this question. Because he is dancing, because he is ecstatic, because he is preparing for the rebirth, right? And the rebirth is something beautiful. So this is how we can roll with this, right? We can go into the fire. We have to step into the intensity, step into the difficulty. And this is a lot of what Brene Brown talks about being vulnerable, right? Being courageous doesn't mean that we don't feel anything, that we're not afraid. Of course we're afraid. Who wants to step into the burning fire? That is not fun. But every courageous act that anybody ever does, it comes with fear and anxiety and worry and what's the word, where we're backing up, right? Denial, right? But if we can just step in to the intensity of whatever it is that we're feeling, whether it's just like, oh my God, looking at my house and seeing all the dust bunnies that are everywhere and all the stuff that's accumulated by living in my space for the past few weeks, right? And I'm just going to dive in and I'm going to attack it, right? I'm going into the flame, into the intensity of organizing and cleaning and purifying and purging. And that's a very simple example, but sometimes it's something more deep. Sometimes it's going into the heart center, into that place inside where you're feeling deep anxiety, deep fear, deep worry. And you have to dive in there with the same amount of courage and ambition that you would when you go to attack those dust bunnies in your house. This is an internal cleansing, right? It's an emotional cleansing. So we can do it on any level. It can be done on a mental level, a physical level. And then it's not only about us. We can use this practice of rebirthing, purifying, transforming to help others, right? We have to do it psychically because right now we can't be, because of social distancing, or we can't go and help our friends, but we can certainly do it through our intention and through our prayers and through our vision. So let's start our meditation now. I think it's going to help you guys, and we can make it happen. Yeah. So let's bring our spine to be in a nice straight upright position, as long as you can, as long as you're comfortable to sit up straight, and then kind of prop yourself up on a little pillow or something so you feel that your hips are just as high as your knees or even a little higher than your knees, and then relax your legs. And if that feels uncomfortable, then just put your feet on the floor with the soles of your feet anchored into the earth below, and let yourself come into your breath, anchoring into the present moment. So we'll start our meditation now. You can close your eyes and bring your awareness to your breath. And just start by taking some nice, slow, deep inhales and slow, deep exhales. And you can visualize a beam of light from the base of your spine moving up and out through the central channel, out through the crown of your head, moving toward the sun above us. And feel that beam of light energizing your central channel. And you can kind of pull the energy in and up, so contracting at the pelvic floor, contracting at the navel center, drawing your chin to your chest to your chin, creating the 3 sacred bandhas. Imagine the pelvic floor lifting like a parachute rising, lifting at the diaphragm, lifting at the heart center, lifting at the throat, and then the crown of the head lifting up. And then everything else is going to melt down. So melting the ears, the skin of the face, the skull, the jaw, right? The jaw always gets tight. Shoulders, like water falling down, the arms, gently relaxing down, the legs, the hips, the pelvis, everything rooting with that beautiful bright spine lifting up. Draw your shoulders to your ears, melt them down the back, feel broad across the chest. You can bring your hands to your heart and we'll chant the sound of Om. And actually, when we chant Om, we're recognizing the four phases of the evolutionary cycle, right? So the Ah of the Om, the O of the Om represents the creation cycle, the O represents preservation, and the represents dissolution or ending. And then the space at the end of the Om represents the rebirth. Right? So every time we chant Om, we're actually creating a practice of rebirth, rebirthing each moment. And sometimes, if you're feeling overwhelmed or you're feeling stressed, anything that's not serving you, you can just chant Om and you can reflect on that cycle of life, birth, death, releasing into the silence of the rebirth. It can be a very, very healing practice on its own. Super, super simple. So let's bring our hands to our heart. Gently let your hands rest down on your thighs. Bring your pointer and your thumb to touch. And start to visualize the central channel of your spine. As you inhale, allow the breath to move down into the crown of the head, allowing the inhale to reach down into the pelvic floor, into the earth below. And then release the exhale, allowing the breath to move up and out through the central channel, beyond the crown of the head up into the heavens above. So the inhale, we're drawing the energy down into the crown, descending through the central channel, through the pelvic floor, connecting to the earth below. And then on the exhale, the energy rise up, the breath moves through central channel, crown of the head, up toward the heavens above. Just take that a few times, tuning into your central channel. For me, it's a very sacred, safe space. Whenever things around me are getting difficult, I know I can always enter into the sanctuary of the Sushumna Nadi line, as it's called, the central channel. And just watch your breath. Notice how beautiful it is, how full of life, how radiant. And as you inhale, you can drink in any nourishment that you need from above. You can start to exhale out anything that's not serving you. Maybe a few breaths you can exhale through your mouth. So inhaling through the nose and then exhaling out. Always very grounding. It's a good way to start your meditation practice, helping you to ground into your body. And so I'd like you to imagine a radiant flame at your navel center. And this is going to be our fire of purification, of transformation that we'll use for this meditation. The fire element represents transformation because fire can change form, right? You throw something in the fire and its form changes. So imagine a radiant light. Maybe for you it's a candle flame. Some of you are seeing a bonfire, right? Something beautiful that feels warm and purifying. And as you inhale, I want you to draw the breath down the central channel. And I want you to let the oxygen, the air, kind of ignite that flame a little bit. And then as you exhale, I want you to release the breath up and out through the crown, purifying anything that is in your field that is not serving you right now. So we'll inhale, we'll ignite the flame, and then we'll exhale, and we'll release the smoke up and out through the crown of the head. So you can imagine that flame purifying anything in your physical body that's not serving you right now. So if there's any pain or discomfort, any ways that you might be feeling unwell or unhealthy, any physical conditions, any headaches or insomnia or aches or pains or tummy problems, just letting it all be offered into the flame of the fire, and as you exhale, feel it purifying, clearing, and dissolving. Bring the awareness to your field, to your energy field, your electromagnetic field that houses your psycho-emotions. So any emotional discomfort, any feelings that are not supporting you right now, you can inhale into that radiant flame and then exhale as you dissolve, as you melt and transform those feelings. Just letting them die. Bringing your awareness to any mental patterns, any mundane worries, any fear, any phobia, any shame, any judgment, any jealousy, any anger, any frustration, any mental patterns that are not serving you. And again, you can inhale into that radiant flame, that fire of transformation, and then exhale as you imagine that flame igniting those mental patterns, those negative thoughts, and completely dissolving them into a million particles of ash. And then starting to move beyond yourself. If there's anything in your environment that's not serving you right now, any difficulty in any relationships, any challenges in your work, any areas in your life that aren't working right now for you, finances. You can imagine the flame moving into the environment around you, healing and purifying, destroying anything that is not serving you. Any agitation, any dissonance, any discomfort. Maybe it's just going to the supermarket and coming back, right? This is a good time to do this meditation, just purifying anything that you were exposed to that felt uncomfortable when you walked out onto the street, any judgment of others, any uncomfortable interactions. And then just seeing it all dissolve, seeing it all melt away, the layers and layers of unnecessary discomfort in all the different aspects of your life, all the layers of yourself. And then start to visualize those that you love, your neighbors, your friends, your families, and if there's any discomfort that they are feeling right now, anything that's not serving them that you're aware of, that's creating difficulty for them or for you. I know a lot of us are concerned about our parents right now, our families, our grandmas. You can send all of that unnecessary fear, worry, anxiety into the flames of the fire and let it be destroyed. Let it die. And then widening your field to strangers, to all beings, anyone right now who is on the front line, anyone who's suffering in any way, anyone who's ill, anyone who's sick, anyone who's being exposed to violence or any abuse of any kind. Imagine that suffering dissolving into that radiant flame, that fire, letting it die, letting it come to its end. Seeing any disease, any illness, the whole global, all beings everywhere. Inhaling and igniting that flame, and as you exhale, feeling it all release. Noticing how it affects your field when you heal the field around you, right? Because we're all connected, we're all one. And then the planet itself, anything that right now is destroying or harming or hurting, creating a negative impact on the planet. Imagine that being purified in the fire, destroying, dissolving any negative impact. Take a big breath in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Do that as many more times as you need to feel grounded. One more time. And if you'd like, we can end our practice with a few minutes chanting the Om Namah Shivaya mantra. Settling into the space that we've created for the rebirth. Imagine ourselves dancing in the ring of fire, feeling the ecstatic buildup of renewal, rejuvenation, rebirth, and transformation. And you can chant the sound Om as you inhale and Namah Shivaya as you exhale. So inhaling Om and exhaling Namah Shivaya. Inhaling Om and exhaling Namah Shivaya. And a few more cycles on your own, silently chanting Om Namah Shivaya. As you chant Om, inhaling down the central channel. As you chant Shivaya, exhaling up the central channel. And only if it feels comfortable at the end of the exhale, as it moves toward the crown of your head, you can lift the pelvic floor, you can draw the navel in, you can tuck the chin to the chest to the chin. You can roll your eyes upward and hold the breath, visualizing the light of the rebirth moving through your mind, through your field, and then coming back to the inhale. Om, and then exhaling Namah Shivaya. Retaining the breath if you like, if that feels comfortable for you. Rolling the eyes upward towards the sun, visualizing the rebirth. Then one more time, inhaling the breath down the central channel, chanting Om. And then exhaling, Namah Shivaya. Retain the breath, roll the eyes up, focusing on the unlimited, infinite potential for transformation and rebirth in every aspect of your life, the lives of your loved ones, the lives of all beings, and for the planet itself. On your next exhale, you can come back to your natural breath. Bring your hands to touch at your heart. Thank you guys so much for joining me for my Facebook Live. I'm here every Wednesday. I would like to invite you. Sonic Yoga is streaming live classes. They're amazing. I've been doing them every single day. It's such a gift to practice with the Sonic teachers who are the most authentic yogis I know. These are the real deal teachers who are sustaining us all right now, the Sonic community. So anyone can join in. There's lots of specials we have going, $125 for 2 months of online streaming. And you get the links. You can have them for 24 hours. We have meditation, we have classes, we have workshops, all kinds of amazing things. I'm also offering 2 online coaching programs. One is my 21-day Sacred Mindset Challenge, where you get 21 days. It's a beautiful thing to do right now of practices that I've used in my life to carry me through challenging times, to move me out of darkness and depression into a place of joy and happiness and abundance. And you get meditations, you get beautiful practices. It's a $27 donation to Sonic. If you'd like to join us, it would be amazing. We have a special Facebook group that we use. And then I also have a monthly membership where you can join me each month on the new moon, where I offer meditation and coaching and yoga classes for you. And each month we have a theme. And this month, April 22nd, we're going into the new moon, and it's going to be healing yourself so you can heal the planet. Focusing on earth practices, practices for the earth, grounding practices. And I'm really, really excited to share that with you. If you sign up now, you do get last month's, you'll get every month. Where we worked on rejuvenation and spring and the equinox. So I hope you can join me. You can find all that information on the Sonic Yoga website. Oh, and I'm also doing a free webinar, which is upcoming. I think it's April 28th. And it's a webinar on 5 simple tools to lower stress and anxiety. And I think you're going to love it. So check it out, Sonic Yoga. Namaste. Have a beautiful day. Love you all.